It is Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 2, and that is the final score in the Carabao Cup game this evening at the Emirates. And do you know what? It was wholesale changes for Mikel Arteta. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into the scoreline, the scorers, and the individual performance, as well as the team and the manager's tactics and team selections. Make sure you do me a favor, people. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe if you are new. We are very close. Edging closer towards the big 30K subs is almost here. So please make sure you do me a favor and join the community by hitting subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button and your notification bell is on so you don't miss a show. We're going to be very, very busy over the next few days. So please make sure that you are joining and supporting the channel. Arsenal won the game tonight. And do you know what? At the time, it was fairly convincing. That guy, Eddie, stepped up and made it a last few minutes of nervousness. We're going to talk a little bit about the team selection, some of the individual performances, how we were in departments as a collect, and a word on Crystal Palace and their fan base. That's what we have got coming up in this fan cam. So please make sure you lock in, hit the like button, and subscribe. Let's start with the team news, because when we arrived at the ground tonight in the wet weather, in the cold, I was a little surprised that he had been this brave, and I worry sometimes that he does not take this competition very seriously. And then I saw the team lineup and I thought, wow, it's literally complete wholesale changes. I knew that Raya would be in goal. I had an understanding that it would probably be Kivior that started. I didn't expect to see Tiery at left back whatsoever. That was quite a pleasant surprise because, as you all know, I'm a big fan of Kieran Tierney. More on him later. And then we saw a complete change at right back and right centre back, with Partey staying at right back. I don't know what's going on there. We'll come to that in a minute. And Timber at right-sided centre back. Then a midfield of Jorginho, who I expected to start, and I guessed and predicted that it probably would be Jorginho who would start in the six. And then we had Marino and Ethan Nwaneri. I was a big fan of the start that Ethan Nwaneri got. More on him later. The first front three that I saw when I looked at the team, first thoughts were that it was actually quite weak. We had Sterling, we had Jesus, and we had Trossard. No Saka, Martinelli or Havertz, all on the bench. Declan Rice completely out. Zinchenko and Calafiori completely out, alongside, of course, Tomiyasu and Ben White. So it was a bit of a strange one when you look at the complete change, the wholesale change that we did see. And the first half wasn't great, people. The first 3 minutes, Jacob Kivior, another mistake. That in the last week or so is just becoming too often now. He's got a mistake in him. I didn't particularly like him at left back. I felt that there were too many chances that he'd give away, too many mistakes that he'd make. And since he's gone to left-sided centre back, unfortunately, we're now starting to see a few of the mistakes come out in that position as well. And I think when you look at the mistake he made against Fulham, against Raul Jimenez, he's just not quite got himself in the position, and then he hasn't managed to recover. Today, it was just a boot up and a hoof up from Dean Henderson, and then Mateta's just gone, bosh, get out of the way. I need to see my centre-half standing up to players like that. I really do, because Mateta has only got one key thing, and that is his strength. He is a nuisance. He causes absolute havoc. But I have to say, and I've got to be real with you, I thought it was poor from Kivior. I have to say that. And we go 1-0 down, and we've hardly even taken to our seats. I think it was 3 or 4 minutes that we went 1-0 down. I have to say as well that I thought that there would be a reaction in the second half, because the first was very flat. We had a lot of the ball. Again, it was a lot of passing sideways and backwards, and anything in that final third just wasn't coming to fruition. We did have a chance. Of course, one was cleared off the line from a corner. We had another opportunity from Raheem Sterling from a free kick. But other than that, it was pretty naff, wasn't it, in the first half? There wasn't really much. Trossard was on the ball, trying to do stuff with it. Jesus wasn't really causing much of havoc up top. We had Ethan Nwaneri, who was getting on the ball. Marino likewise. But I don't think either of them managed to thread many passes through to our attacking three. Sterling doing what Sterling does, to be fair. And that was cause a little bit of mayhem and a little bit of havoc, but not really getting anywhere with it. So in the first half, I thought it was a little bit disappointing from Arsenal's point of view in terms of what we actually did try to create. There was a couple of opportunities. Palace actually had 5 shots in the first half, 2 of which were on target. One of them was a goal, the other one being saved, I believe. So I do look at that and think that there wasn't much in that first half that I was actually pleased with, other than we kept hold of the ball, which is something Arsenal been able to do quite a lot. They keep hold of the ball well. They can pass it around nicely. There's not really any times that I look at Arsenal thinking, oh, we can't get hold of this ball. We can't get any passes together. We can't string any passes together. I think there's been many times against Everton, Palace and Fulham in the last 3 games where we've been quite dominant on the ball in terms of possession, but not really much that we're doing with it. And that's a frustrating thing for me. I look at what we're trying to do and what we're looking at trying to achieve, and it hasn't really come to fruition, particularly in that first half. I don't think it was that impressive. But then the second half, I expect to see some changes. And I think what we have to say and admit is our right-hand side, when it is at its best and it is at fully full strength, I think it's fantastic. I really do. And I think we saw why in that second half. I was so impressed with the right-hand side. And when it had changed and we took Thomas Partey out of the picture again, which I got to say to you, please let's just stop this now. Why are we taking our best midfielder out of midfielder to play him at right back? There's just absolutely no need to do that when you've got Timber there. Timber went there. I thought he was so much better at right back than he was right centre back. We had Saliba who come on for Partey to allow Timber to go right back and Saliba to be in his natural position. And when you've got Odegaard and Saka coming on, although I thought Sterling, to be fair to him, was actually okay, I think our right-hand side looks so much better when Odegaard and Saka are there with Saliba and Timber behind them. I think that right-hand side has got to be one of the best that we've seen, if I'm honest with you. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. Look, before the subs came on, we saw a little bit of an improvement. And I want to big up Kieran Tierney. Yes, he come off injured and he's got a strain. And it's come out now that Ornstein has suggested that he's leaving Arsenal in the summer and it will be his last game, if not one of his last game, one of his last games with the club. He's probably going to be leaving in January. I imagine he'll go back to Celtic. But do you know what? He played well tonight. He's an old school left back. He likes to overlap. He likes to put a ball in. He likes to tackle. He likes to link up with his left winger. There was quite a lot of telepathy with some of the players, but actually with Trossard, I thought he was struggling a bit, if I'm honest. I don't think Trossard and Tierney together formed a great partnership there, and I think there was quite a lot of confusion about where they were supposed to be going. If you look at the actual relationship they had, there was quite a lot of disagreeing and misunderstanding of where they were trying to be. I think they were trying to get in each other's way a little bit. But Kieran Tierney was trying to overlap. And let's be real, Trossard has never had a left back that's ever been able to overlap. They've all been told to invert. So that's why it looks pretty strange. I thought he had a good game. I thought he had a really good game. And in the second half, straight away, he bombs it forward and he delivers a delightful cross to Raheem Sterling. Now, Raheem Sterling has got to put that in first time. When he doesn't put it in first time and the keeper fumbles it, he's got to put it in second time, but he ends up hitting the crossbar. Now, I didn't think Sterling was bad. I didn't think he was outstanding, but certainly started to pick up his form in the second half. And although I didn't think he was that bad, when he came off, you saw how much of a difference it is when Bukayo Saka's on the pitch. And that's where I want to start. I was disappointed that Ethan Nwaneri wasn't allowed to play alongside Martin Odegaard. I really want to see him in that 8 and Odegaard in that 10 or vice versa. But we saw Marino stay on the pitch. And if I'm honest with you, although I didn't think he had a bad game, I don't know what he brings to the team. I'm struggling to see how we're a better side with Marino in it. I think the only thing I can think is that we're a little bit more comfortable over there because he's got a left foot. And unfortunately, that's just not a good thing, is it? Because there's a lot of left-footed players. That's not quite good enough for me. So it needs more time. I need to review it come May and see what this signing has been. But for over £30 million, I think we're getting probably a squad player there. And a lot of people were expecting him to start every single game. And I just don't think he's much of an upgrade, really. I don't look at him and think, wow, you're levels above El Neni or you're levels above Smith Rowe. I don't think he is. I don't think he is, if I'm honest with you. Now, I wasn't a massive El Neni or Smith Rowe fan by any means, but I thought that they were both players that come in and did their job and contributed. I think Marino's going to be one of those. I think he's going to be an El Neni or a Smith Rowe. He's going to come in and win and it matters and do a job. So I don't want to start going on against him saying that he was a problem because he definitely wasn't one of our worst players. But I just struggle to see what he brings to Arsenal moving forward. I see quite a lot of physical attributes. I think he's good for height, but we've got enough of that. We've got enough physical attributes as it goes. I just don't see much technical quality other than turning on the ball and spraying a pass with his left foot. And if that's what he's in the team to do, he's clearly doing his job as far as Mikel Arteta is concerned. I just wasn't excited by this signing. I thought it was an okay signing. I thought it was like a good signing, actually. I'll say that. I didn't think, wow, that's taking us to a next level. And I think we're seeing that he actually wasn't a signing that was going to take us to the next level. So I was disappointed that he stayed on instead of Ethan, who I thought deserved to stay on. I thought everything that he did in the first half was pretty good, moving forward with the ball, spraying it out wide, trying to take on man, trying to cut back on that left and make something happen. I thought Ethan was quite a bright spark, but he came off. And it was Odegaard that come on, and my goodness, you could see a difference. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. I've got to say this now. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. The minute that Odegaard come onto the pitch, we started to see a little bit of lifting confidence and some creativity and that kind of vision, that pass, that weight of pass that we've needed, that leading by the press, leading by example, leadership qualities that he brings onto the pitch. I thought it was just a different level, if I'm honest with you. And I thought he had a poor game against Everton. I think it's made me realise that perhaps we should have kept him on alongside Ethan Nwaneri or somebody else against Everton. But tonight, I've got to say, he was absolutely outstanding. And the weight of pass for the goals were astounding. So as I say to you, yes, the left-hand side has problems, but the right-hand side really doesn't. When everybody's fit, I think it's an absolutely outstanding right-hand side. I've got to say it now. And yeah, it makes us potentially a little bit... is it asymmetrical? Is that a word? A little bit lopsided, a little bit unbalanced on one side to the other is what I'm trying to get across. But for me, I think the right-hand side is so good, I don't want to touch it when everyone's fit. When you've got a right-hand side of Timber, Saliba, Odegaard and Saka, I honestly think it's one of the best. So I have to say that is definitely a plus, and a huge plus, in fact. Let's talk about Martin Odegaard, because every time he got on the ball, he looked for something to happen. Every time he was getting on the ball, players were looking to do 1-2s with him or looking for him. And that straight away proved to me that he is an absolute level above what we've got. And I love Ethan Nwaneri. I really do. And I'll bring Merino into this mold as well. And maybe even Trossard. They're the three players that we were talking about potentially replacing Odegaard when he was out. I think Ethan's the only one that come close to it, if I'm honest. Trossard and Merino, it ain't for me. Nwaneri definitely had some glimpses, but Odegaard is just brilliant. When he's on song, he's just brilliant. And, you know, there's a couple of people that have questioned him. I've questioned his goals and assists in the past. I never questioned his technical ability. You could see that from Real Madrid days, couldn't you, how good he was. But it was about delivering on the pitch. And if I'm honest with you, everything that we did going forward had come through him. And I have to say, the first goal of the night is actually my favourite goal. It's a delightful pass. It's absolutely inch perfect. The vision, the weight of pass is exquisite from Martin Odegaard. To see that run and to deliver that pass and to thread it through that amount of space, those amount of players, and to put it on the plate for Gabriel Jesus, it is a stunning pass. But you know what? The job ain't done there. There's a lot for Gabriel Jesus to do. He's got a man on him. He has to beat that man. And then what he has to do is ensure that he flicks it over the goalkeeper. For me, very, very, very impressive. So I'm in a position where I just feel like there's got to be a lot of praise given to both the pass, but also the finish. Now, the second goal that Gabriel Jesus scores is offside. It is. Let's just say it how it is, people. I've seen it again a few times. He is standing offside. We are very lucky that VAR isn't there. We are very, very fortunate that they haven't put the flag up. But taking nothing away from the composure and the finish, we go 2-1 up and we change the game around. And you know what? He deserves it, because he is actually in and around that box causing a nuisance today, Gabriel Jesus. And he has definitely been questioned for his finishing and his lack of being clinical. That's 4 goals in 28 games now. Nowhere near good enough. But you know what? Preston, Palace, Bolton, he started in all of them. He missed a sitter against Bolton. He scored goals against Preston, and he scored goals against Palace. Let's just see how he gets on from here. He is a confidence-boosted player. The minute he scored the first goal, it looked like he was going to get the second. He went on to get a hat-trick. That is the level of Gabriel Jesus right now. It feels as if he's had to start completely again. It looks as if I'm not going to say finished as a player, because a lot of people think he's done. I think he'll go on to play football somewhere else after this season. I don't think he'll stay at Arsenal. I think he will go and play elsewhere. It's going to have to be the Saudi League or back in Brazil, because no one's going to pay the wages unless he goes over there, in my opinion. But let's just look at what he's done tonight. Let's not look at his future. I thought he was really good. He looked sharp. He was linking up play. He kept hold of the ball well. He was bringing other players into play with some of his creative work, some of his dropping deep and spinning on the ball and 1-2s. I was quite impressed with that. And I've always been impressed with the fact that he does press. He don't stop running. He's always running around. He's got the goals tonight, and that's why you have to give him credit. You know, a lot of people would have given him man of the match because he got the hat trick, but let's just be real. It probably was Martin Odegaard, because without Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus doesn't score one goal, let alone three. He was phenomenal tonight. I have to say, Bukayo Saka, big up for the second assist. I thought it was a really good pass. Yes, it was offside, but actually Saka to come on and he caused problems, and he just gave a lot to answer for Palace. They had to sit there and actually go, Saka's on here. What do we do? Do we put two on him? We've got Gabriel Jesus, who's on a goal. We've got Odegaard. And then what we did was we saw the third goal and how easy it was. I mean, literally the amount of space that he has there is criminal. I don't know where the defence are. Palace are obviously pushing forward. Their left-hand side's completely empty. Jesus gets in behind that right-hand side space and utilises it. And it's a great pass, yet again, from Martin Odegaard, who literally puts the ball through. And Jesus has literally all the time in the world. Now, a lot of people will say that's an easy finish and it's easy for him to score. But when you've got all the time in the world and you need to keep your composure, you need to keep your head, sometimes you can lose it. And I want to say something a bit crazy now. If Gabriel Jesus isn't on a hat-trick there, if that's his potential first goal in the last 28, other than the goal he scored at Preston, does he miss or does he score that? Because he slots it home magnificently. It's great composure. It's a calm finish. And to be fair, all three of them were tonight. But without the first goal, does he get the second and the third? Because sometimes you can lose your head. We saw tonight with Raheem Sterling. He should have scored, but he missed. And then he missed the rebound, which, to be fair, was even easier. It was actually harder to hit the crossbar from there. If he is as one-on-one for 1-0 to win the game, let's say, or even 2-1 to win the game, do you think if he doesn't score the first, that he gets the second? And if he doesn't score the first, he gets the second and the third? That's my kind of question to it, because I still do think that there's problems with his finishing, but tonight you wouldn't have thought it. I will say this. I'd start him at the weekend. There's no way after a hat-trick against the team you've got to play again on Saturday that you don't start this guy. You have to play him ahead of Kai Havertz. We didn't miss Kai Havertz tonight. We looked a lot more free-flowing. We weren't aiming to lump balls to him. We weren't aiming to look at him to link up and just say, right, put it into his chest and see what he can do with it. And I've got to be real. I don't think Kai Havertz gets a hat-trick tonight if he's in Jesus' shoes. It's a completely different player and a different mould and style of player to Gabriel Jesus. And Kai going through one-on-one, yeah, I have a little bit of confidence, don't get me wrong. But I don't have any more or less confidence than I do with Gabriel Jesus running through. This is why Arsenal need a number 9 that you know is going to score. When Alexander Isak runs for United, it's a goal. When Victor Gyökeres runs for United, it's a goal. Hell, I say it, Victor Osimhen at times you run through and you fancy a chance of him putting it in away. We have to get a striker like one of those guys. Isak's not available in January, but the other two have release clauses, Osimhen and Gyökeres. Let's hope that we get one of those through the door. I don't think we will, but it looks as if we're going to need another striker or another attacker in this window if we want to be serious. And that's going to be very, very difficult. I'll finish on this competition because this cup, we need to win it. The draw will be tomorrow, I imagine. Newcastle and Liverpool have gone through with Arsenal. The last team will be either Manchester United or Spurs tomorrow night. I don't care who we get. Some people are saying they want to get X, Y, Z. Some people want Spurs in the semis, not the final. Some people would happily take Manchester United. Some people would happily take Newcastle. I don't think many are wanting Liverpool. Although some have said they'd rather take Liverpool in the semi-final than the final because both records of Arsenal and Liverpool at Wembley are very good. We call it our second home. They call it their London Anfield. So it's very, very difficult for me to pick a winner there. Two sides that, you know, were seen as going up against each other for a title not too long ago. Looks as if one's pulled away from the other now, that team being Liverpool. And I will say this, Liverpool squad's good, man. Liverpool's squad's good. I don't know if you saw their squad tonight. They had Trent and Alexis McAllister, but otherwise they had Nunes, they had Gakpo, they had Morton, they had Harvey Elliott, they had Kelleher in goal, they had Joe Gomez, I think, playing. I think they had Kwanzaa playing. So, look, they've got a very good squad. and they comfortably beat Southampton tonight. I know it was 2-1, but I believe the scoreline suggests that it was close, but actually it wasn't. Liverpool were the better side from what I hear. Newcastle likewise comfortably beat Brentford, which I think is a very good result for them, by the way. And out of everybody who says, oh, what they Arsenal, I think Liverpool don't need this trophy least, if I'm honest with you. Arsenal need it a lot. Newcastle probably need it the most. And then obviously Spurs need it more than anyone, right? So Newcastle and Spurs probably need it more. Manchester United and Liverpool not so much. Arsenal, of course, need to win a trophy of some kind. So the 4 teams that I expect it to be, I think Manchester United are going to beat Spurs. I do. I think Manchester United will have a lot of confidence from Ruben Amorim's win at the Etihad, and I think that will get them over the line. And I think Spurs will go out. And then you've got Liverpool, Newcastle, and Arsenal. I suppose people would like Newcastle or Manchester United if they do go through ahead of Liverpool. And then you take whoever in the final. But you know what? You get Liverpool over 2 legs. You beat them at Anfield. You draw at Anfield, beat them at home, and then you go to Wembley. Liverpool are out, and then Arsenal have got either Manchester United or Spurs or Newcastle. Sometimes you could look at it like that. So let's see who we do get. That will be drawn tomorrow night. Obviously, it will be an interesting draw. A lot of people believe we're going to get Tottenham. But Tottenham have got to beat Man United first. I know it's at Spurs, but I think it'll be difficult with the players they've got out. I really do. They've got centre-backs out. Manchester United have got confidence. Manchester United will take it seriously. Ruben Amorim will definitely fancy a trophy and see that as an opportunity to get the first trophy across the line. He's seen Erik ten Hag win it. Why can't he? So I fancy Manchester United. I do. And I never normally do, but there's something about the Man United setup that I quite like at the moment under Amorim. And I think that Manchester United might be able to get through this tie because of Angie's high line. So that's what I'm going to go with. So, yeah. But we know that Liverpool are through. We know that Newcastle are through. We now know that Arsenal are through. And I want us to take this seriously. I want that team lineup to be the last time that it comes out. I don't want that lineup against anybody. It doesn't matter if it's Spurs, United, Liverpool, Newcastle next. That team plays, we're losing. There's no way that team is strong enough to go through against those teams, in my opinion. Palace have gone through a time that, they've actually got a couple of wins, but they've had a tough period of time. They're down the bottom of the table for a reason, right? Newcastle, I think that Isak and Gordon and Barnes and the guys would love to be running at Kivior. They'd love to be running at Thomas Partey. I think the midfield would be eaten up with Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali and Joe Linton if it is Jorginho in there and Marino in there. And I think our strikers would probably have a little bit of a field day potentially against Dan Burn. But other than him, I don't think there is any other weak link in that Newcastle side other than the goalkeeper, who I believe is out at the moment. So, yeah, I need to be seeing this trophy come home. I need to be seeing this now. It's been too long. And we've got an unbelievable opportunity. I think if people were to say now, they'd flip a coin between Liverpool and Arsenal. Some people might look towards Liverpool because of how they're playing. And if I'm honest with you, I think if I had money to bet, I probably would lump it on Liverpool, if I'm honest with you. Because I don't know what Arsenal are going to turn up in the semi-finals yet. I don't know what team lineup it's going to be. I don't know what Arsenal's mentality is going to be like then. I don't know what injuries we're going to have like by then. So that is going to be very interesting to see who we get. I want to see us get either Newcastle or Manchester United or Spurs. I just want to avoid Liverpool is what I'm saying, because I feel like it would be an excellent final, Liverpool-Arsenal. And I really do think it's a flip of a coin in a cup final there, because both teams do very, very well there. So that's what I think. But look, knowing our luck, we'll probably get Liverpool. We got Liverpool in the semi-finals not long ago. We drew at Anfield and we ended up losing with Diogo Jota, if you remember, at the Emirates. So hopefully it's not a repeat of that. Newcastle will be quite good. Going home and away, it'd be nice to go and get some revenge over at St James's Park after losing this season. Well, the last 2 seasons we've been there, and then beat them at the Emirates, because it obviously is 2 legs. So let's hope that we get a draw that is not Liverpool, and we see them in the final, hopefully, because I think Liverpool will probably, beat whoever they get, whether it be Newcastle, Man United, or Liverpool. Spurs. I'd fancy Liverpool. So there we go. Palace again at the weekend, people. Saturday. Set your alarms. Get yourself up. Get yourself down there, those of you that are going anyway, and enjoy the day. 5:30 kickoffs. You've got a whole day to drink as well and enjoy yourself and watch the football and all that. It's always a good laugh. So make sure you enjoy yourself there. I'll be back tomorrow with more content. So please make sure you do me a favor and hit the likes and the subscribe. We've got one super chat from the legend that is Suge before we do close, and that is Suj saying, come on, people, hit the likes and subscribe. He's doing my job for me. What an absolute legend. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. At the moment, we haven't even hit 100 likes. So let's make sure we get way over that, please, people. I really do appreciate it. Back tomorrow for more content. Hit the notification bell so you know when we are live. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. And we'll see you next time, people. Take it easy. We're out of here.